Welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that for my Talking to the Camera challenge, I would discuss a planner that many people might not be familiar with for various reasons, including a lot of drama surrounding it last year for 2025. Uh, and that is the Twines and Paper Weekbook. I actually was fortunate enough to get one, so I thought I would talk about the pros and cons of it because ultimately, even though I was lucky enough to get one, I didn't end up sticking with this planner. I, about a week and a half in, just knew it wasn't for me and ended up ordering a sterling ink. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what this planner is. I will touch on what the drama was and just a description of what happened. Um, and I'll take you through this planner, what it looks like, what it has in it, and ultimately kind of why I decided it wasn't really for me. Um, I do have my Sterling Ink Common Planner from that same time period that I did end up staying in just so that we can kind of compare and contrast between the two. So let's move the sterling ink over and kind of highlight this Twines and Paper book. So first of all, the cover is very nice. It's that similar kind of fake leather feel to it. It is floppy. And this is a full year planner. You can see it's got the little Twines and Paper on the back and Weekbook Hybrid on the front. And the hybrid is the thing that makes this planner unique. Now, before we open it, I do want to discuss kind of what happened last year. There were pre-orders taken for this planner a couple different times. I was in the first pre-order. The people that were later in their order did not receive their books. They did not receive responses. They did not receive their actual product. They were just ghosted. Um, it was a very kind of concerning problem. I ordered my planner in June of 2024. I had reached out several times because by October I still hadn't received anything. And that was longer than it had ever taken to receive a planner before. Now, I believe that she's in Germany, so in addition to, um, and I could be wrong on that, but I think it's at least somewhere in Europe. So, in addition to anything that was going on with getting a pre-order in, there was also then international shipping, and as a small business, she had some things going on in the end of 2024, middle to end of 2024, that she was talking about online personally. Um, so I fortunately did get this right around Thanksgiving, so right around November, end of November, and had it ready to go for the new year. I had a big life change. We moved a couple states away over Christmas. So I had this planner in plenty of time to get everything ready so that after I moved, I would be able to use this, within a week of arriving in our new home. Um, so I was fortunate. A lot of people weren't. And if you are considering this planner, that is really something that you have to keep in mind. There were a lot of people who didn't have a large budget and only had a budget for a single planner and then didn't receive their planner and were very, very upset, understandably, um, and had to scramble and make other arrangements. So I'm hoping she came back this year, and I'm hoping that she has everything figured out and is going to be able to fulfill orders. but I don't know her personally. I cannot attest to whether that's the case. So if your planner budget is tight, that is definitely something that you should consider. Personally, I had ordered some stickers with this planner, and I still have not received the stickers. I have not received responses to any of the emails I have sent about the stickers, and I have not received a refund for the stickers. So I am out I think it was about $30 or $40 worth of stickers that I ordered with this particular book. And I have just counted that as a loss. I know I will never see the stickers and I will never see the money. And I'm a little salty about that, and I'm sure a lot of people are as well. But having said that, hopefully she has fixed the kinks. I know there are people that absolutely love this planner, and I really wanted to. I love the idea of it. And it has some really unique features that other planners don't necessarily have. So I thought I would kind of walk you through what is actually inside this. First of all, you have that cover page. I put a nice sticker from Southern Belle Plans on that. And little did I know, I put this sticker on on here at the beginning of the year, and I thought it was a little bit weird that it had an S. I can buy myself planners multiple until I'm broke, but actually that was kind of fitting with everything that ended up happening because I ended up having to buy multiple planners for the year. I don't know about you guys, but I always put how many days you have left. It was a little tip I got from Clark Keegley, I believe it was, who does a lot of journaling, and he always puts the number of days that you have left until you hit a certain age. For me, it's 100, so I have that many days left until I hit 100. Then we have the 2025 calendar here. I have covered mine up with the Coffee Monster Co. stickers. I usually do that. And I often put how many spaces in each direction somewhere accessible in the book. In this case, I did it here in the front. I had a reading list, which obviously I did not fill in because, as I said, I was only in this book for 2 weeks, I think 2.5 weeks. So if we look at what's going on in the beginning of the Common Planner, we also have that same calendar, which I didn't cover up because I had already used my stickers over here. In this case, I had decided to use this blank page as a reading list. And then there's there's this yearly overview. One of my favorite ways to use a yearly overview page like this is a when did I last. In the Sterling ink, I have that here. And it's just when did I last do all the things? I have streamlined and simplified this a little bit since then. So if we look in what I've been playing around with in this Just Plans, I thought that this page would make a great use for that in the Just Scribble. And I've simplified it a little bit in terms of colors because that has a bit more room to write in, whereas this, I just had to use colored dots for the amount of space. But that's a nice feature to have. It's always nice to know, when you last replaced your doorbell battery or things like that you have to do repeatedly, but not all the time. And then this planner has a couple blank pages. And then we get into the Calendex pages. These are always nice to have for various reasons. You're going to have those in a slightly different format in the Sterling ink. So because this is a half-year book on the Sterling ink, I did do them twice. So I just put stickers over over the month names so that I could have two sets of Calendex pages, which I thought was going to be great. And then I ended up, as you can see, not really using them. So we have those here, and then we have monthly trackers. Sterling ink does not have monthly trackers. The Just Scribble Plans does have trackers. They're in here. I like the trackers. I like having them all together in the beginning because it helps you kind of see your progress. So it's got trackers for every month of the year. Then it does have goals page. I tend to do my goals in categories, so this was kind of nice. You can see there's a whole bunch of pen tests here. I don't normally have those in my planner, but I have used this since for trying to see what colors I wanted to use for things. I have several different reds, and so when I redid this in my common planner, I went and used I swatched all the different reds, all the different blues, so that I could kind of figure out which one I wanted to use in the common planner. That's not something I normally do. Then we move into the goals progress page. I thought this was a really nice idea, and I would love to kind of get the opportunity to utilize something like this. You can write your tasks for the month and then show your progress over here on how you're doing on those tasks. That's fantastic for keeping you on track and keeping you accountable for making forward motion on things that are important to you. I think this would be easy enough to implement somewhere in just a regular grid. So I may take from this and use it somewhere, but I have not yet. And then we have December, always the month before the year, and then a couple blank pages before we get into an actual month. So this is what January looks like. There's a blank page, and as you can see, February is going to be the same layout. You have a blank page, and then you have the month kind of bullet journal style. One of the neat things is you have some focus area for the month. You have your two columns, so you could do personal and work. You could do any two things. Maybe you've got your own stuff and your kids, your family. Maybe you have two different businesses. Whatever you want, you can kind of separate. Maybe you want to do gratitude on one side and your appointments on the other. So this is a nice flexible layout, and it is nice to have this blank page before. I was super excited. I was like, oh, I'm going to do something with it. I decorated it and everything, had it all ready to go, and then I did nothing with it. I had a lot of things coming in the month of January, so I actually used one of these to track incoming orders because we had just moved, and so I had a lot of stuff on the move. Then you get into having a monthly page on the Sterling ink. That is where the month starts. You're going to have your monthly page. Ended up not being able to decorate the same because I had used up the stickers and I wasn't going to buy a whole new set of stickers. But this monthly page layout, I kind of use it to track things that are going on that I know about ahead of time. If it comes up in the week, then I usually doesn't make it on here. But this is just kind of a good overview always of my month. And then with this planner, after the monthly page, you get into the horizontal weeks. The way this planner is laid out, and let me go to a different month that I haven't written all over yet. You have got blank page, the side-by-side bullet journal style month, the actual month. Then you have this horizontal page, horizontal weeks, which is very similar to Hobonichi weeks in its layout, with the horizontal boxes, and then you've got some just blank space here, a grid over here, and two boxes with lines, and your little calendar of the week. I always thought that I would love this layout. I got a week's at one point in time that I thought I was going to use, and I tried to pull it out for this video, and I do not even have it anymore. I really want to love a horizontal layout, but I just don't. And the way this planner is designed, you have, your month and then your horizontal layout for the week, and then your vertical layout for the week. Vertical layout is very similar to what we're all used to in a, Hobonichi Cousin or Sterling ink. In the Sterling ink, let's see if I have a week that's not, here's a week that's not filled out. They are very, very similar. The numbering is done the same. You don't have the calendar up here in the Twines and Paper, I think mainly because you have that calendar over here on the horizontal weeks, so you don't need it twice. You have a column over here. The columns are about the same width, as you can see. These are both B6 size books that I'm looking at right now. So it is very, very similar. You even have the shading for the month that you're in. And then it goes right to the next week, and the horizontal, and then the vertical, and then the horizontal, and then the vertical. And it'll keep going this way until you get to the beginning of your next month. So then you have your blank page, your bullet journal, your month at a glance, horizontal, vertical. And you continue that way all the way until the back. You did have January for the next month, just the bullet journal page and the calendar on, calendar at a glance for the month. And then you get into some blank pages. Now I colored on a bunch of these, wrote all over a bunch of these, but these are all just going to be blank pages, and these are numbered. Now the rest of the pages throughout are not numbered, but these pages at the back are, and you do end up with 150 of these gridded pages at the back. This is very similar to the Sterling ink. It has all the gridded pages at the back, and they are also numbered. Also just blank pages. One of the things that Sterling ink does that I really do like is has a little bit darker dot here at the middle of the top and the side, so that you can find the halfway mark when you're doing things like an index. As you saw, I had an index back here. And, I was having to find the middle of the page, whereas on the Sterling ink, it is a little bit easier to find with that dot. but you know, blank pages are blank pages. They're always nice, and 150 of them is nice. The sterling ink does have, she also doesn't have page numbers on the, no page numbers on the bulk, the beginning part of the journal. The page numbers start with these blank pages. And in this case, it is 183. So a few more of the blank pages. In this case, in the hybrid, you have added a contacts page, actually several contacts pages. Now, I don't tend to use these. I keep my contacts in my phone. I've never used these contact pages, but some people really like them. And if you like them, there's a few in here. So instead of getting some of those extra grid pages, you have pages dedicated to specific items. And then you have this personal information, contact information page at the back. I didn't use this either. Usually when I get to the back, I have what I call my washi graveyard, and I put all kinds of things here, little bits of washi that I haven't used. I'll put stickers from fruit, the surrounds of stickers sometimes that I've been given. I keep in my 5-year journal, I have a Coffee Monster Co. Collection of packers, people who have packed my order, and some of the various stickers. So like Helen has had several different versions. Eula has had a couple different versions. But if I have stickers from packers that I've already gotten, like here, Angela, I'll often put them back here, Cynthia, and Coe. So I already have them in my collection, so I just add those few extra stickers back in here. So I kind of started that here. I also, if I order from a particular shop, I will have their little name sticker if it comes, and I'll have those on here. I also, if I finish a sheet of stickers, I'll put those in here. This is actually a great way to find out what I have used and know what I need to order more of at the end of the year. What I'm consistently using is a great thing to look at back here. And then we've got the end of the book. Again, this is a full year in one for this Twines and Paper Hybrid, whereas the sterling ink is a half year. I'll do the kind of side by side here. This is not exactly a really fair side by side because the sterling ink was used for the entire year and the Twines and Paper Hybrid was not. But it is obviously thicker, and I'm sure it would get even thicker if you used it for a whole year. All in all, I like this, the idea of this planner. I really wanted to love it, but I find that it just doesn't really suit my needs. I don't love this week's. I really tried to. I tried using my Alistair method. I tried doing a meal plan and actual meals. I had no idea what to do over here. I like this layout better, so I kind of would turn to this layout, but then not really. I wanted to put things here that were also in here. It was just, it made my brain feel a bit more scattered, personally. Does that mean that it won't work for somebody else? Absolutely not. If it works for you, that is fantastic. I think it's great. Best of luck getting one. I hope that they don't have any issues this year like they did last year, but just be aware that that is a possibility because it did happen before. But as you can see, I mean, it does look like it's got a lot of useful areas. Again, I felt like I was repeating things here that I was putting here. And so I just felt like for me, I didn't necessarily know where to write anything. And if I did write things, I found I was writing them twice. And for me, that's a definite recipe for something to get lost or for me to miss something. So it didn't work for me, but maybe it'll work for you. But anyway, that is the walkthrough of it. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at a planner that we don't see quite as often in the community, I think. The Twines and Paper Weekbook Hybrid. And this was for 2025. So thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you next time.